Yeah, but I'm not make sure I'm on. I'm not too um particularly thrilled with hearing that Floyd Mayweather Amir Khan negotiations have begun. Now, do I believe it or not? I don't know. Is it likely? Of course. If I was a promoter, I would be negotiating with Pacquiao and Amir Khan at the same time. So to I guess you want to ask yourself are the talks serious or not? So what you're going to do is you're going to give me a couple of minutes while I send out some invites here. For some reason, people still don't know how to use Google Hangout. But what Google Hangout is, it's a live streaming video conference, real time, and we talk about boxing. So what happens is within the next 15 to 20 minutes or so, people are going to start trickling in. And the fact that it's a Friday and Adonis Stevenson was fighting, I'm predicting that the ratings are going to be probably a little bit low. So, meaning I'm talking about for that event. So I doubt that people really stayed up this late to watch that guy fight. He doesn't have a really big fan base. But as it stands right now, I'm doing something different because usually I do my Google Hangouts on Saturday nights, but I'm not watching no Gary Russell Jr. I'm gonna watch Gary Russell Jr. and I'm gonna watch that card. But what I'm saying is, I rarely get Saturday nights off, so I'm not gonna be, up here all night. So I'm gonna do those videos and I'm gonna do some other shit. But as it stands right now, Adonis Stevenson defeated Sukhotsky. I guess that's where to start. Adonis Stevenson, to me, he looks like a clown because why? Because now we don't know if him and Bernard Hopkins, if that fight holds weight. Jean Pascal is off the table. Sergey Kovalev is off the table as far as now, and the WBC has put the winner of Sergey Kovalev and Jean Pascal in the mandatory to fight Adonis Stevenson. And still, even today, Adonis Stevenson still was he still didn't seem thrilled or actually confident about, yeah, I'm gonna fight one of those guys. He's talking about like he's the #1 man, and it's like, okay, I understand you got the green belt, I understand you got the WBC 175-pound title and the Ring Magazine title, and you're considered the champion. But as far as Sergey Kovalev is concerned, Bernard Hopkins was the WBA, the IBF, and the IBL, if you count the IBL. I don't count the IBL. I'm just throwing that belt out there. But Sergey Kovalev is WBO, WBA Super World, IBF, and if you want to throw the IBL, like he has all the other belts that Adonis Stevenson doesn't have. And if you don't know, the WBC said the fight would be 50-50 as far as money. So it's like, what are you talking about, Adonis Stevenson? There's nothing you can say to him. I said, well, if the money's right. No, it's 50-50. It's either you take it or you drop your belt. Simple as that. There's nothing to talk about. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if Kathy Duva of Main Event Promotions tries to pull a move to whereas in Al Haymon fighters don't fight on HBO. Kathy Duva's contract with NBC Sports has expired or about to expire, as she talked about in a previous interview late in the summer. That's when she spoke of the Al Haymon NBC Sports deal. Al Haymon offering $20 million allegedly to NBC Sports. No, excuse me, to NBC for 24 dates, something like that. But if you look at the landscape of things, Al Haymon fighters don't fight on HBO. Sergey Kovalev is an HBO fighter, and he looks like he's going to be an HBO fighter for a time to come. So you got to look at, will Kathy Duva take Sergey over to Showtime? Especially with what Adonis Stevenson and Al Haymon did to Sergey Kovalev and that, HBO. I think they're going to try their best and do what they can to make Adonis Stevenson fight on HBO. Now, you really got to understand the politics and the storyline. Like, the shit is like wrestling for real. So if you understand, the politics, I'm thinking they're going to try to get back at Adonis Stevenson and put him and Al Haymon in a situation where the fight has to be on HBO or Adonis Stevenson may drop his title. Now, will Adonis Stevenson drop his title? If he does, I wouldn't be surprised if he moves back down to 168. And that's Al Haymon for you. Thank you, Al Haymon. Thank you so much. But see, here's a the wild card situation. I don't know if fans would want to see a Bernard Hopkins versus an Adonis Stevenson. If it can be made, and if Hopkins says, if I lose, this is my last fight for real, and he builds the fight off of that, I'll support the fight. But if he fights that fight and he still, says, well, I don't know what I'll do after if I win, if I retire. No, I want him to let it be set in stone that if he loses, he retires. But will that fight sell, especially after the performance? Hopkins will still be able to get off on his name, but the performance he put, on against Sergey Kovalev, it's like, and excuse me, and even if you look at the performance of Adonis Stevenson tonight, and in his fight with Fonfara, he's got 2 punches. He's got the jab and he's got the straight left. So a Bernard Hopkins can figure out something like that to where Bernard Hopkins did not expect what he expected from Sergey Kovalev, showing that he can box. I don't see that from Adonis Stevenson. I don't see that dedication from Adonis Stevenson. I just don't see it in him, so I think Bernard Hopkins can beat him. Now, could he knock Bernard Hopkins the fuck out? Yes. You know why? It's because Bernard Hopkins, if he fights Adonis Stevenson, he's not going to make the same mistake that he made with Sergey, and he's going to take a whole lot more chances and probably get his head knocked off. Hey, Adonis Stevenson is good to an extent, even though he only has 2 punches. We have to give that to him. But it's just a whole nasty, depressing situation because guess what? You got Adonis Stevenson in his next fight. He's going to fight somebody that fans probably don't even know once again because the WBC allowed him to take a fight of his choosing. So therefore, that'll be Fonfara, who's a known fighter, but I'm not talking about. I'm talking about a fighter on the scale of a Jean Pascal, Carl Froch, or Sergey Kovalev. So he fought Fonfara. Fonfara was a good fight, but he should have fought a little better, in my opinion. He fought this guy Sukhotsky, and now who knows who he's going to fight. Now there's a good fight with a guy by the name of Jürgen Breimer. You put it this way. If you're an American boxing fan, you can't watch his fights unless you got to go through what you got to go through, and people know what I'm talking about to be able to watch these fights. They come on, meaning if it's a German fight or a Russian fight or a fight over in the UK or whatever, the main event starts somewhere at about 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on a Saturday. So, it's a tough call, especially if you're a person, that's active and you don't have a Saturday, like early, late evening-ish to spend and watch some fights. But outside of that, if he does fight that guy, then it'll be a very credible fight. But anything outside of that would be uncivilized. So you got potential fights, right? Don't say Andre Dirrell. Might as well not say Anthony Dirrell. Even though those guys are 168-pounders, you're seeing Andre Dirrell in Adonis Stevenson locker room. So, they Al Haymon guys, so they cool. A rematch with Chad Dawson, no. I doubt Al Haymon going to do that to Chad Dawson. You got that guy, Tommy Karpency. I guarantee you, the guy that beat Chad Dawson is probably going to be Adonis Stevenson's next opponent. Go look at Chad Dawson.
That would not surprise me at all.
Go look at Chad Dawson versus Tommy Karpency. I think it's going to be him. Thank you, Al Haymon, because that's how he works. So now that I guess we laid out the landscape, we got to look at Sergey Kovalev, Jean Pascal. Now, see, now I got Kovalev. Jean Pascal gas is late, even though Kovalev just went the distance for the first time as far as 12 for the first time in his career. Still, he seems to be more skilled going late than Pascal. But Pascal was going to put some punches on Kovalev that Kovalev hasn't tasted at this stage in his career. Pascal can punch, but I'm worried about if he can go the distance. That's what I'm concerned about. So it's looking like it's looking like Kovalev, and like I said, with the HBO Showtime thing going on, it's looking like, I would not be surprised if Adonis Stevenson and Al Haymon, are fighting on HBO, or Adonis Stevenson has to drop his title. You know, that's what it may be. But then again, if Mayweather versus Pacquiao gets made, the network beef is technically over. Because Haymon can't be making these fights with these other guys until he makes that fight. You know, so that's just my personal opinion.
Haymon will create a new weight division for Superman. Call it like super light heavyweight, 180-pound limit.
170, just 170.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a special weight limit for Stevenson alone. He'll even create a belt for him.
But they got, you know, the thing is, he's got fighters that are good fighters that he can match up, you know, with Adonis Stevenson. But we know, we have no confidence that, oh, he'll fight Anthony Durrell, he'll fight Andre Durrell. You know, we know that that's not going to happen. You know, another thing is I'm trying to figure out. I should have looked it up. If Bertabiev is a Al Haymon fighter, because this was an Al Haymon Canadian card. This was an Al. Let's get that straight. Tonight, December 19th, Showtime Championship Boxing on Friday was a Lou DiBella promoted, even though he probably wasn't even in the building. Al Haymon boxer card. Like, I don't know how this, man. I'm guessing that Lou DiBella is the new, like, golden boy, I guess. Al Haymon, because Al Haymon's been working with him a lot lately. I think for about 3 cards over the last 4 months or something like that. But I mean, I don't know. It's just, you know, it's hard talking about these different fights because you will talk to certain fans and they say, well, why won't he fight Andre Ward? You know, or they say something like, what about Chavez Jr.? And I'm thinking like, yeah, those fights could happen, but Chavez Jr. just signed with Top Rank. I mean, not Top Rank, just signed with Al Haymon. He got Eddie Hearn down like chasing him like Fight Call Froch, you know, and that's just not how the Al Haymon plan works. Al Haymon signs Chavez Jr. Chavez Jr., of course, has to have a comeback fight. Then if he doesn't look good or if he does, he's going to fight, you know, some guy that probably, you know, Adonis Stevenson or somebody. And it's a damn shame because you know what you get when you see Al Haymon fighters and when they sign with him. We know like, oh, you know, they're going to go the safe route. Look at Abner Maris for crying out loud. You know, like, as soon as he signed with Al Haymon, no more Johnny Gonzalez rematch. Al Haymon, like, no, you're not ready for that. No.
You know, the worst thing about the whole Al Haymon thing is that a lot of the fighters that he has under his belt were so respected.
Yeah.
Until they signed with him, and then you just seen their whole career take a different course. You could feel it. You could see it. It was in every direction. Like, look at Superman. Everyone thought he was great. You know what I mean? Adonis Stevenson.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he signs with him, and it's like you just feel the change. And you see it. You've seen it with, you know, Danny Garcia. You've seen it with so many guys. As soon as they go on board, it's almost like he puts them on freeze. Sits down with them, okay, and then he plants out some kind of course of action that they're going to take in the future. And it's almost like he'll give them some soft touches to test the water, see how they look. Negative reaction, be damned, because it doesn't seem to make any difference for him. He's not the one getting the negative flack. It's the fighters.
Yeah, no, you know, it seems as though it seems as though some of them have some frustration because at the very early stages of when that purse bid of Rock Nation put that what was it, $2 million up, Peter Quillen was very happy with the idea.
Yeah, he was excited.
Even Keith Thurman, when he was offered that $2 million to fight, he actually allegedly constructed the deal with them as far as, okay, well, yeah, if Al Haymon does allow it, I want this and this and this and this. So I'm thinking like Al Haymon has got to be signing these fighters to a certain amount of money up front. You know, he may be buying them houses. He may be, you know, basically, you know, giving them an allowance and say, you know, like, well, don't worry about it right now. Perfect example, Leo Santa Cruz. When Leo Santa Cruz gave us Al Haymon speech, Leo Santa Cruz is basically saying, I'm getting paid and I'm going to go give him his money. And Al Haymon is like, no, not right now, not right now. You know, and I'm thinking like, well, wait a minute. You know, like this Al Haymon, like what does he get out of the deal? He takes care of his fighters so well where they think like, well, I do got all this shit. You know, I'm cool. And you know, you got a guy like Jermaine Taylor. Well, I shot somebody in the dick. I'm out of jail. You know, and I'm going to beat the case. Thank you, Al Haymon. You know, so maybe that's probably why the reason why these guys really don't care who they fight. Danny Garcia's career, in my opinion, all relies on his next fight. And the thing is, it's so bad that it has to be a big fight. But then, if it is a big fight and he loses, his career will basically be done in the fans' eyes because of the Mauricio Herrera thing. And people are going to say he was always overrated. You know, that whole 2013 he had, you know, he had a beautiful 2013, beautiful 2012. And now look, 2014, Mauricio Herrera, did he fight Rod Salka? That's his 2013. Mauricio Herrera and Rod Salka. You don't even end the year out on a good note.
Yeah, it is like a lot of the Haymon fighters had great 2013s, and then as soon as 2014 rolled over, it was like crickets. You could hear crickets. Nothing coming out of them. No good fights coming out of them. I know Al Haymon, from what I read, he has some investors behind him. That I know they plan on building some sort of league. I'm just not sure what steps, when and where they're going to basically drop the hammer on it. It's supposed to be 2015. We'll see. But I think he's starting to see what the landscape is now and realizes that it's just not a feasible thing to do yet. So I think you're going to see him utilize the normal networks as much as he can, possibly even try to get back on NSO, play nice, or HBO, sorry, and play nice with them, and try to basically build something slowly. I don't think they're going to drop the hammer on, jumping ships right away now. I think he realizes the landscape just won't allow it, and it'll just be a failure if he tries.
Steven Espinoza posted on Twitter about a week or so ago that he's more than confident. Well, he knows that Haymon fighters are still going to be on Showtime. So I'm thinking this. Al Haymon and Richard Schaefer had a plan. Things didn't go too well. Richard Schaefer is now on hold and can't do nothing outside of, tell people what to do via phone conversations, but he can't be directly involved. He's on the shelf. Al Haymon and Richard Schaefer had a plan. Their plan was with Golden Boy Promotions and Oscar De La Hoya out of the picture, basically, to do whatever they were going to do. So Al Haymon, in my opinion, I'm guessing, had to start doing all this shit without Richard Schaefer, and now he's just trying to do too much too fast. And that's one of the reasons why we don't have, like, certain big fights, because of what happened with Richard Schaefer. But then again, how do we know we were going to get big fights? Like, Al Haymon hasn't showed us anything. And my personal opinion is that no matter what, fighters are supposed to give us the best fights, no matter what. It's okay if a fighter loses and takes one warm-up fight, to get himself back. And then if he gets knocked out, he takes maybe two. But then you have these fighters winning, continuously winning, and not fighting the other guy that's the best in their division. Did you see that? Matter of fact, I'm going to try to find that Floyd. Roy Jones did an interview.
Yeah, I saw that where he talks about Floyd.
I'm gonna play it.
I didn't see that one. Hey, yeah, also,
I'm gonna play it. You'll be able to hear it.
Did you see that interview they had with Albert Mares about him saying that he was over there bragging that he wanted the Johnny Gonzalez rematch? He wanted that belt, and then they interview Johnny Gonzalez on that WBC that convention show they had over there, and I think it was in New York, right?
Convention? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then he said something about, well, hell, I haven't seen no contract. Tell him to send it over. I'll sign it. I'll knock his ass out again. I'm like, dude, he's over here bragging that he wants that rematch, but he didn't send that contract. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, we know though, like we know how the system is. All right, here go this interview. I'm gonna play this real quick. Let me turn it up. My bad, let me turn it up.
Do not tell me there's a guy close to my weight division that you thought could beat me. Because if you told me that, you just wrote about a scripted nightmare. Because it's a must that I find out. That's what Real Box was about when I came along. You see? If there's anybody else when you moved up the way very slowly, it was an obvious target, and you made it fine. But for years now, we've made Pacquiao made all these excuses. And Mayweather, he made his have kind of won now from now, but he hasn't taken out the biggest threat. And to me, it's an asterisk on his career. And it's going to be an asterisk because even if he takes him out now, Pacquiao's far beyond his prime. So it doesn't mean anything. So it's going to stay an asterisk on his career now because he did that to himself. Now, to his defense, had he beat Pacquiao earlier, he could have retired earlier because he's so bored that we would have stayed away to watch the fight on the maybe he thought that it Mayweather not fighting because it's sort of that little reason to keep watching. Like I said, he's so boring that if he beats Pacquiao, he's irrelevant then. Because if he beats Manny Pacquiao, who else do you want to see Floyd Mayweather fight? Or dance with him, you should say. Because he danced with McDonald for 24 pounds. The most exciting thing happened, McDonald bit him, he didn't even draw blood. And he's screaming. At least Holyfield, at least Tyson did some Holyfield year off. At least he had to go to surgery. McDonald didn't draw blood. And he's crying to the referee, he bit me, he bit me. Really. And that's the highlight. That's the highlight of 24 rounds of boxing from pound for pound, supposedly the best fight in the world. What the hell are we doing now?
He has a point.
He does.
And I want to ask you to comment on that. I'm going to quote a former opponent, Montel Griffin. Montel Griffin fought you twice, and he actually did sparring with Mayweather, and he was asked one day, and I'm going to quote him here, who was the fastest Floyd goes to with Mayweather. Montel Griffin said, Floyd was no comparison as far as speed. Roy was much faster. Yeah, he's not a genius, so he's
like in different divisions. But anyway, let me leave that right there. There's not too many. Okay, well, let me say first that Roy Jones is being called a hater for saying what he said, you know, and of course, that's what's going to happen. If Muhammad Ali said some shit like that, you know, and if he was still able, you know, to talk, you know, they would be like, oh, Muhammad Ali is a hater. You know, it's got to a point where you have, I can't say not one boxing legend has backed Floyd up in not fighting Pacquiao. You know, and now here today, I get a flood of inbox messages, and you know, oh, it's gaining steam. Just don't believe me. You're going to start seeing that shit around now that Mayweather and Khan are now negotiating. So as I said earlier in my video, you know, it's likely to believe. So of course, you know, and also as a marketing strategy, you know, of course you want to be negotiating with both parties. But I think we understand now that there's too much on the table for Floyd Mayweather not to fight Manny Pacquiao. Now, Amir Khan would be a good fight. But I'm talking now that Floyd Mayweather has been as verbal and open that he has been in years. You know, actually, this is the most open he's been in saying, I want to fight Manny Pacquiao. So how can he go back now? And then at that same WBC convention, he's talking about how Amir Khan only had like 4,000 seats. It was about 8,000 seats or so. You know, it's a shame because the arena wasn't even half full. And also, the numbers for the Showtime event did not do, you know, really so well, actually, for a stacked card. So when you look at the drawing power of Amir Khan, it's heavily debated, especially among his fans and supporters, you know, of his ethnicity. So I think to myself, okay, I understand, you know, just like Mexican people, they heavily support Mexican fighters. Puerto Ricans heavily support blacks. I understand that. But understand that he draws where you are. And he has a questionable drawing power over there as well. So he draws in the UK. Okay, he can do that shit over there. But over here, we got to send his ass to fucking Black Entertainment Television, BET, to 106 in Park, for him to try to get known to the black people. Because they just don't, that's the people who buy the Floyd Mayweather fights. You know, so until Amir Khan fights somebody that will give him notoriety over here in the States, he's not gonna transcend, you know, those he's not gonna transcend. Ricky Hatton did it. he had that little. I don't know how he did it. He had that heavy support, but also like with Ricky Hatton, it was a buzz around Ricky Hatton and Pacquiao to the point where you can go up to certain people in the street, as Ricky Hatton. They may say, "Oh yeah, the Irish guy," even though he's not, Irish, but yes, they would know who he was. To as an Amir Khan, and there's some Bollywood actor named Amir Khan, so I just don't. Like people think I'd be knocking him and hating on him, and I noticed that it's the people that are not usually from the United States that don't understand that. Yes, he is good. Yes, he can give Mayweather major problems. Yes, he can give Pacquiao problems. But at this point in time, the selling power, my fucking battery's dying. The selling power over here in the States is only going to get him at max, I'm going to say 1.1 million pay-per-view buys. And here's the thing, Mayweather needs at least 1 million. And I'm saying that he needs more than that, but he needs at least 1 million to satisfy Showtime, in my opinion. Now it's common knowledge, people are going to debate it, but if you follow boxing as much as I have, and you're able to put together the numbers as far as ticket sales and everything, the pay-per-view did not do what's expected. What Floyd Mayweather said in that Fight Hype interview, the most recent one, is that, well, it may not have sold as much, but I'm charging you more for the pay-per-view. I understand that, but at the same time, it was planned months ahead of time that the pay-per-view was going to be $74.99 for high definition plus tax. So Showtime wanted that pay-per-view to do over 1 million, and also with that $75. But see, that's the type of ignorant brainwashing shit that we hear from a lot of these boxers, and more importantly him, as far as the negotiations of this Mayweather situation is concerned. So a lot of people don't understand that. It's very smart, and you have to understand Mayweather is a superstar. He's a cultural icon, whether you like him or not.
Yep.
He doesn't just go on camera, on Showtime, in a situation like that. I'm not talking about where he just goes off on some random interview or anything. In a situation like that and not know what he's going to say. At the BET Awards, he was in the back. This was around the time when people were joking about the fact that he couldn't read. We know he can read, but we were just saying he's not reading on an adult level, basically. So he had to practice his lines, for announcing an award on the BET. So what I'm saying is this. He's got somebody like Al Haymon saying, listen, you go out there and say, we offered you the 40 million. It's our time to start talking. It's our time to start, letting them know, listen, we want the fight too, but even if we don't want the fight, we're going to, say something, because he was starting to get trashed in the media. He was silent far too long, to the point where you got Pacquiao sending out all these, he got ghost tweeters, people tweeting all this shit, harassing the shit out of Floyd, saying shit that we know Pacquiao wasn't even, typing up. But anyway.
This is the problem that I have with that fight, man, since it started. The problem that I have with that fight is the date, that he's bringing up the date now. And the problem that I have, that people are falling into that already, to that game that he's playing. You see what I'm saying? Because if I'm Floyd, okay, and I know I want to fight Manny Pacquiao, okay, and I know I'm going to fight on May the 2nd, okay, and I know Cotto and Canelo wants to jump ahead of me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get the fucking contract. I'm going to have the fucking attorney do my demands and the agreements that I want, and the cut, the purse bid, whatever the case is. Write it down, sign that motherfucker, and send it to Manny Pacquiao and say, here, this is my fucking demands, and this, we're going to fight May the 2nd. You sign it or not? If you don't sign it, then you're the one ducking. Okay?
Yeah, he's in a tough situation, man.
You know what I'm saying? And that's all it is to it. But then he's playing those mind games again. Here he goes again. Oh, May the 2nd, Byron saying that, fuck all that shit, dude. You have the fucking power. You got to do is say, yes, I'm going to fight this motherfucker, and I'm going to fight him on May the 2nd, and then what happened? But then he goes again. He goes back. And
with that little knick-knack.
Exactly. He's rewinding back, and he brings out the 40 million. He brings out the drug testing. I'm like, dude, where are you going with this? I mean, you're bringing old shit again, dude.
Yeah, it's like,
fight this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, and that's
crazy,
exactly
because I still think he could whoop him, dude. I actually think Floyd can win that fight. I just don't see why he won't fight this man. I don't get it. I still think that I'm not a fan of either both because for one, I hate the shit out of Floyd. You know, just his persona. Second, I hate Manny Pacquiao because he beat shit out of all the Mexican fighters. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a fan of both.
Yeah.
But still, dude, I gotta be realistic. You know, from what I see. You know, and I do, but I just don't see why he won't fight this man. I mean, it's 10 million.
Maybe even more. They're saying. Like
See?
we know 100 million is the low end. We know that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Doesn't make sense.
Outrageous. I've never heard of nobody can make 100 million in 36 minutes. Like what kind of shit is that?
Dude, I'm telling you, they pay me that kind of money. I'll fight any goddamn body. If I gotta fight my mom.
Listen. I will. Listen, I tell my mom. Like, listen, it's 100 mil.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll give it half when we get done.
I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, I love you. You better take a dive.
I'll give it half when we get done. Exactly.
You better take a dive. But I think like you got Canelo versus Cotto that's being used as a scare tactic. As like, well, if he fights Khan, then we're going to put that fight, the Canelo Cotto, on the same date. And realistically, Canelo Cotto is going to outsell Mayweather Pacquiao if they dare have it on the same date, which I doubt because you know why? Let's be perfectly honest with each other. Is Mayweather Promotion strong enough right now to put on an event by themselves? With Leonard Ellerbe and Mayweather not in the... Now, Leonard Ellerbe was at that Showtime event, the card where Aries Lenny Law, Ishe Smith.
I thought he got fired.
He was there.
I saw that.
He is still the active CEO of Mayweather Promotions. Yeah. I was on a media call. It was a media call with him and Ishe Smith, Laurie Ishe Smith. Leonard Ellerbe was allegedly, his plane was late. He couldn't get on a conference call on the phone because on a phone, you know, so it's just, you know, they don't want him to talk. Yeah. But he was at the event. He is still the CEO. But him and Mayweather were not sitting with each other. And also, they weren't in any scenes or, you know, in the ring with the fighters with each other. But Leonard Ellerbe was. So another question is, can they comfortably put on an event by themselves? I do not think so. I'm talking about just a Mayweather Promotions card.
No, I don't think so either.
And then you think about, you know, the type of fighter that Floyd Mayweather is and the type of person he is to the point where he wants that banner just to say Mayweather Promotions. He don't want no top rank on there. Just like that card, the Marcos Maidana, the second fight. It was promoted, majority promoted by Golden Boy Promotions. And then Mayweather Promotions, but guess what? Team Mayweather, they wanted to say, no, we want Mayweather Promotions to be bigger and bigger right now. You know, you got Oscar De La Hoya like, all right, cool. You know, you got it. I told you I was going to still be promoting your fights. Like, it's just, you know, it's, none of this shit makes any sense because it's like, it's propaganda to the point where he cannot say anymore, you know, or allude to Pacquiao being on steroids. He can say we offer the drug testing. Now, every time he talks about the drug testing, you have to notice how he takes his time and gather his words.
Hey, I was going to ask you about that too. I had a question about that. I saw the article about him banning in the past drug testing. Did you hear
what?
About Floyd about him doing past too? I saw an article about that. Have you seen that article?
Well, I know in 2012, Mayweather actually, in 2011, Mayweather filed a lawsuit against Pacquiao.
Yeah.
For defamation about the steroids. Mayweather ended up paying Pacquiao a large sum of money, well, Team Pacquiao, and basically him, Roger Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather, and a couple other people could not allude or say anything about Pacquiao being on steroids. Now, they can say stuff like, okay, well, we offered, you know, the reason why the fight didn't happen is because of the drug testing, but he can't say that, you know, so they can word it certain ways, just like Floyd Sr. recently, within the last year, I mean, got into some beef because he did a video. He was in a video that's probably not on even YouTube anymore, where he said Pacquiao was on, quote unquote, he got that shit up in him. That's what they said. You know, yeah, he got that shit up in him. But,
yeah, but the article that I saw, it was about Floyd, because you know what? It was on that 24 on that All Access when he fought Canelo. They had an interview on him and they were asking him why he had those shades on him, and he said that his eyes.
Oh yeah, you know what?
That?
Listen, vampire facials are
exactly.
blood transfusion. Now what it is you're taking you're using your blood to basically fix your skin to an extent. The first time I saw it was that Kim Kardashian bitch. You know, when I was like, what the fuck is wrong with that bitch's face? And it was actually using blood. And I'm like, goddamn, rich people. You know, but somebody like Floyd should not be doing something like that where you're taking blood from somewhere and putting it somewhere else.
Yeah, well, see, that's not just that.
Like, in no way, shape, or form should a boxer be associated with that. And also, I forgot, I knew something about it. There is something illegal involved in that process. I forgot.
Yeah, it is, because when they put it in that thing, it spins the blood, and it brings some kind of oily yellow stuff above that blood. I saw that video, man. I got to look for it. And it said that can actually enhance, what can give you a strength, something like that. And it's against the law, I think, because what's the name of that guy? The freaking guy from France, the one that lost all the championships.
Lance Armstrong.
Exactly, him. He was doing that shit too. And then, and they were showing another video of Floyd when he fought Mosley. He made them people from Lozada. He made them wait 6 hours to do that urine test, and that was a strategy for him to do that. That Alex Rodriguez.
I remember that, and he was riding around like in his mansion on the Segway. Exactly. I remember that. Yeah. That's good bringing that up. But see, here's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. He's over there bragging about this. How do we know that motherfucker ain't doing the same shit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh well, all fighters are dirty to an extent.
I know.
But see, he's a hypocrite because
I know he is.
Personally, I believe he's on TRT. Testosterone replacement therapy.
Yeah.
The reason why is because he's older now. Yes, he has slowed down a bit, but it's just certain things. People don't look at the fact that his head look a little bit bigger than it used to be.
Well, why I think I'm suspect of any fighter that's in his 30s. I'm old school. I watched fights back in the 80s, and fighters back then, when they were near 30 or at 30, they were either at the tail end of the prime or already starting to go downhill. And when they went downhill,
yes,
it was quick. So by the mid-30s, most of these guys were done. You could stick a fork in them, and it was quick. And that's back then. We always heard the saying, getting old overnight. But now, with the fighters out there today, you see their downslide is a lot more linear, a lot more slower.
Slower, yeah.
They're lasting longer in the sport. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of people try to come up with the excuse, well, it's evolution. Sorry, evolution doesn't take place like that.
That's what that is.
In 20, 30 years. That's not human evolution. That is hormonal replacement evolution. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it is. Nobody can't tell me that the fighters, like almost all of them out there at the top of the game, especially when they get into the 30s and they're still at the top of the game, I guarantee you they're circumventing the rules. It's natural. There's no other explanation.
Yeah,
it's in the food, man.
Huh?
What you say?
It's in the food, man.
Oh yeah, well, I think that it's something more. Now we know that Mayweather doesn't want Aaron to make any money, but it's got to be something deeper than we don't know, because, like I said, I don't know who can defend someone, who's an athlete and you turn down $100 million for 36 minutes, $100 million plus, and it's like a person who you say you can easily beat. it's like if and I have to think about myself, and I have to think, well, how would my friends and family think, or how should the general person think? Like, well, if I can beat him, let me get this $100 million real quick. Like he's like Mayweather is the most powerful. Well, he's the highest paid athlete in the world. If he were the most powerful athlete in the world, he could tell and basically make the networks do what he wants. It's no reason why there should be network issues if Floyd Mayweather really wants to fight.
Yep.
Floyd Mayweather could say HBO, Showtime, listen, get it done. I want the fight.
Yep.
And that's why when they talk about like it only has to be on Showtime, and I've noticed over the last few weeks that our Haymon fighters have been given a lot of credit to Showtime, which makes me think that, listen, our Haymon telling them, like, listen, make sure you like talk about Showtime because they're getting pissed at us. The fight's not doing good ratings. We've been giving them bullshit fights. It's just none of it makes sense. Like he knows. All right, people will say Pacquiao is not obligated to HBO. HBO is going to make sure that they get a piece of this fight. After all the years they put into both of those fighters, they're going to make sure they're not going to just let Pacquiao just like go straight over to Showtime. It does not work that simple. Then with Bob Arum stopping the fight, of course Bob Arum can easily be the scapegoat. The Jew, he can easily be the scapegoat. The greedy, covetous Jew, he's stopping the fight. That's what people want to say. And that's what people are not going to talk about in the media. That's that's what Floyd Mayweather is hitting at. Like he want to keep all the money in house. But once again, it's different now because we know there's a guaranteed $100 million on the table. Yep. It's different because it makes you think like I don't give a fuck what it is. You got your money right there. Take the money. Take the money. Like Roy Jones was right. Like Floyd put himself in a situation where he waited so long to fight Pacquiao that if he loses, he can't just retire like that. So it's so much risk for him to have to win. And I think, like I said in many videos, I think if Pacquiao gets in the ring with Floyd, he's gonna go full crazy aggressiveness because Pacquiao got nothing to lose. Yep. I'm thinking he's gonna go out there and he's really gonna try to kill Floyd.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like he's not gonna be going out there trying to box. Pacquiao not going out there trying to box. He's gonna be going like he's gonna throw left hands for days because he's not gonna respect Floyd power. And also, Manny being the biggest fight in his career, and he already been put to sleep. You're fighting someone that really don't have nothing to lose. That's what I think Floyd Mayweather is afraid of. I don't think he's afraid of Pacquiao physically. I think he's just afraid of the fact that, damn, I waited too late to fight him. Now if he fucked me up, I'm 38 years old basically. It's crazy.
I see it like I don't think Floyd's afraid of Manny, but he knows that he's faded himself. He knows Manny has, but he still knows with styles make fights. Yeah. Manny Pacquiao's a southpaw. He's an Energizer bunny. He has the potential. He has the potential to go in there and out hustle him. Floyd might land more shots. Floyd will land the more accurate shots. But Manny has the style that will be completely nagging to Floyd, and there's a potential for him to outpoint him. It's there. And Floyd knows this. Floyd knows Manny's not completely shot yet.
Yeah. And I think to myself, okay, now how many left hands is Floyd going to take before one of his eyes shut up? Now, if you look at Pacquiao's last, I believe it's like 14 opponents, their face gets fucked. So I think to myself, like, does Floyd know this? That he's going to be bleeding from somewhere. Pacquiao's going to be throwing left hands for days. Ask yourself, who was the last person that Floyd Mayweather fought with the power that Manny Pacquiao is going to bring to the table? And I'm talking about that continuous power, that aggressiveness, that punch output, continuous power. Because Pacquiao's going to be throwing combinations for days. Floyd's going to have to do a lot of moving.
Has Manny ever been beat up before?
Yeah, been beat up.
Oh, Manny?
Yeah, not just knocked out. Yeah, beat
No,
up.
no, no, I'm talking about like black eyes or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, he been cut multiple times,
By who?
numerous. Barrera, Morales,
You know,
fight.
This motherfucker don't care. He going on
You
the
know,
rampage.
yeah, see, like he's been through wars. You can look, if you look closely at Pacquiao, both his eyes in the corners got scar tissue. You can see it. You know, so technically Pacquiao is one of those guys that should be cutting, you know, relatively easy.
But he doesn't though.
His defense has somewhat improved. He keeps his hands up a lot more, especially since his ass been put to sleep.
Yeah.
And plus, like Timothy Bradley and Chris Algieri, they ain't gonna open up no cuts.
But you also gotta. But even the Timothy Bradley even said, man, when you see Manny, you know, when you go in the ring with that fool, man, it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
Just motherfucker all over the place.
But like I said, I'm seeing the Canelo versus Cotto thing as a scare tactic, marketing ploy. That listen, like if you don't fight Mayweather, we're going to take your date. You're not going to just have May 2nd. You're not fighting on that date. We're sick of you. You know, and this is this is really the largest bargaining chip that Top Rank or boxing and fans have ever had. But it's up to Cotto. You know, Cotto is very significant in the situation because Canelo and Oscar De La Hoya said, listen, our side is done. Now, we know a venue. They have to talk about the venue, you know, and I'm sure Cotto going to want to come out first and all kind of bullshit. Come out last and all kind of bullshit like that. But if Cotto signs that contract now, you know, like Mayweather Pacquiao, goodbye. Simple as that. And also, like, will Showtime be like, you know, it's tough because you have to think, don't these Showtime execs, you know, CBS, Les Moonves, don't they've got to know what's going on. Bob Arum is telling this man all the way at the top food chain, like, listen, Amir Khan versus Mayweather, come on. He probably talking to him like, come on, Les, you know this. Amir Khan versus Mayweather is not going to sell, you know, Canelo versus Cotto. If you don't fight him, I got to do it. I got to take your date. You know, and that's just smart business. He's not just going to Les Moonves saying make Mayweather fight Pacquiao. No, he's going to him with strategies like, listen, if you don't do this, this is what we're going to have to do, and then you're going to end up losing more money. Like, who can Mayweather fight in that stable right now that will generate over $1 million? Yeah, there'll be good fights, but in a way, Al Haymon has fucked up the fights that they could have been. You know, he fucked up to keep Thurman getting Mayweather by now by keeping Thurman away from certain fighters. You know, he fucked it up with Danny Garcia by having Danny Garcia fight Rod Salka and then not avenge the Mauricio Herrera thing. You know, can't be Aries Landy Lara. We would like to see Aries Landy Lara. It'd be a good fight, but it won't sell. You know, like it's so many different things. People say go up to 160. Okay, go up to 160, fight Cotto. Cotto's definitely working with Top Rank at this time, and also, this Cotto don't want to go through that negotiation bullshit with Floyd Mayweather again, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to have, you know, he'll do it, but he wants to have a whole lot more control than he had before. You know, so you know, then people say Golovkin. Oh yeah. So if you really look at the options for Floyd Mayweather, what is there? Then you got the wild card in Kell Brook. Like, what is there? Who can he fight? You know, like I mean, I think to myself like, does he see this? Does he know this? Like, that fans know, like, you're pretty much backed into a corner? But yet, you know, he's slinging his propaganda. You know, and, yo, yes, I'm not saying all of it's wrong. Yes, Pacquiao deserves a smaller share. And, yes, Bob Arum takes a large chunk of Pacquiao's money. But at this point in time, I don't give a fuck about Pacquiao when it comes to this fight. I don't give a fuck about Mayweather. I just want to see the fucking fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I don't give a fuck about that shit no more. I don't care.
You know why? You know why these big fights don't get made anymore? It's because you got these Floyds and Mannys running around, getting pay-per-view fights for every goddamn fight they're in. Doesn't matter who their opponent is, pay-per-view. Yep. People are getting pay-per-viewed out. They're getting giant money every damn fight they fight anyway, 20 or to 30 million each or more. So where's the motivation for them to fight each other? Okay, so you're going to give me 60 million and you can have 50? That's like, okay, no, I can fight 2 Rod Salkas for that.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. I mean, that's how, even make that money work. That's how
exactly. So, you know, it's like, oh, I can fight Manny Pacquiao and make 60 million, or Manny can say, I can fight Floyd for 50 million. But Manny or Floyd can go out and fight just two average contenders. They'll put on a big pay-per-view, a big scene for them. They'll get their money. They don't have to take a risk.
I still want to know how Peter Quillen is going to make $1.5 million. I still want to know.
He won't. He was already paid off like $500,000, according to some people out there. So he'll go out and he'll get a shot. No, he'll go out and he'll get a shot against someone like Jermaine Taylor or Danny Jacobs. He'll make another $500,000 to close to $1 million, somewhere in between.
He was talking smack about Triple G. I don't know if y'all saw the interview.
Oh yeah, like he was there, gave an interview saying, "Why doesn't Triple G go up and fight Andre Ward?" It's like, who are you to say this?
Where your belt at? Like, where's your belt?
Yeah.
And then look, it's crazy because if he go fights Danny Jacobs don't got the real WBA belt. Golovkin do. So it's like, okay, well, it's got to be Taylor. Like, realistically, like, I mean, come on. I wouldn't be surprised if the WBA or the IBF say, "Aha, we got you, Peter Quillen, mandatory Golovkin."
I would love that shit, boy.
Now, because especially the WBC ain't been fucking around. They're like, we got you now.
It's almost like when he was saying, like, recommended to Golovkin to move up in weight. It's almost like, no, he doesn't even want to think about Golovkin in the future. He wants Golovkin out of his weight class. And it's almost, you could tell he doesn't have enough weight class to move up himself, even though he has trouble making weight each and every time Quillen does.
You're like 175, probably more now.
Well, the thing about Quillen is, when he first started off, he was fighting at super middleweight, and they moved him down the middleweight. And he's been struggling with that weight ever since. But he refuses to step up because there's some monsters up at 168.
Yeah.
But he's got the gall to tell another fighter to do it. Golovkin's the one that wants to clean out his division.
Yeah.
But Peter Quillen has some kind of built-in issue. It's crazy stuff. The way the way a lot of the fighters out there are thinking these days. It's scary.
So what do you think? You think if Cotto Canelo gets made, and then I'm sure I think probably Canelo take that one. But you think if he wins, do you think that he'll step up and fight Triple G?
Cotto, I think what?
No,
I think Cotto's going to do it.
And I'm talking about Canelo. I'm not talking about.
I think Canelo. Yeah, because Canelo already shown us like he'll fight anybody. Like, remember,
I know he
did not have to take that Lard fight. So I believe Canelo would do it.
Yeah, Canelo's ballsy. He'll do it. He's got like some confidence in himself for some reason.
What do you think?
He'll get it popping.
How do you think he'll do against that fight?
See, here's the thing. Golovkin is a better version of Canelo, and put it this way, Golovkin is the better all-around fighter, and he's the bigger fighter. But Canelo's going to be, I gotta go with Golovkin. He's the better all-around fighter. He's got the height, he's got the reach. He fights similar to Canelo as far as they both sit on their punches and they hit you with tremendous power. But Canelo with the work rate, though.
I
gotta give it to Golovkin.
Yeah, the way I see the fight is you got two fighters that both want to move forward because that's just it's their nature. So you're gonna have to go with the larger fighter because he's the guy who's gonna have the weight behind him.
Yeah, and
the natural size and strength.
Well, you have a fight though, shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just see Canelo. Like, Canelo's got way faster hands, but he's got slower feet.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Golovkin that's going to be full steam. And, I think Canelo, I think he still might have some, stamina issues. So it's going to get, he'll be competitive and he'll be in the fight, but eventually his tank's going to go on empty, and Triple G's not going to let him off the hook and let him have his breaks like he normally has. He only fights a minute per round hard.
He's on the ropes.
Yeah, and those extra 2 minutes each round, he's not going to get away from Golovkin because Golovkin is, when it comes to cutting off the ring and moving forward, he can be as fast as he wants to be. He's got really good legs under him. So
yeah, he's always right there.
Yeah.
I think Cotto would be a different story, though. Cotto would have to do a lot of, honestly, this is another time, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. Listen, I got Cotto being destroyed by Golovkin.
Hell yeah.
He's too small. He's too small. He's smaller than Canelo. And also, you know, he's going to have to do a lot of moving. And the power, he don't have the power of Canelo. So I'm thinking, how is he going to keep Golovkin off of him? And then when he does punch, he's going to be doing a lot of lunging against a powerful power puncher.
Nah, he won't fight him. I think he'll vacate before he fights Triple G.
Nah, I think that's going to be his last fight. I think he's gonna take it because I think this is gonna be one of them times where he wants to show the fans. But then again, we gotta think he's got to get through Canelo. Now, him fighting Canelo is interesting because I want to see how Cotto take those Canelo punches.
I think Canelo's gonna take him anyways. I just think he's not gonna be able to handle those punches.
But Cotto can outbox him. Cotto can move around him in that situation. Because Cotto in box.
All I know, if he fights Triple G,
but I mean,
Cotto, he's gonna get murdered. He's gonna go to jail for that. I'm telling you right now.
Cotto, that ain't gonna be right. That ain't gonna. But the WBC, they made it's happening. We know what's happening. I don't know what Cotto is going to do though, because I don't know if he's going to fight. I don't know if he's going to wait until May to fight or wait until June to fight. But at the end of this year, he has to fight Golovkin. But it's like you're going to take up all this time. I don't know. But one thing is for sure, he holds the key to Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Because if he starts to show real interest that, okay, I'm about to sign a contract, then I think that will put so much heat on Mayweather, because Freddie Roach trains Pacquiao and trains Cotto. So it's like we're not going to get both of those fights. We're just not. We're not going to get Mayweather versus Pacquiao and Canelo versus Cotto. It's a shame to say, but it's just not looking likely. So we got to think about Mayweather versus Amir Khan. Like I said, if he takes that fight, I'll tell other people, like, listen, don't buy the fight. I'm not going to buy the fight. I'm going to make somebody else buy the fight. I'm not going to buy it. And then I'm going to be mad at them and scold them for buying it after I make the buy. Because it's like, I can't support that. Because this is a man who's openly told us he can fight whoever he wants and we still going to buy. That means he knows what he's doing. I can't support him fighting Amir Khan.
I'm not either.
Disrespect to Amir Khan is just like, for one, how do you swing it to the media in all the interviews you wasn't going to like that $100 million? And then, his next move is going to say, well, there was never an offer of $100 million. We know there's $100 million he can get for that fight. We know he can get $100 million for that fight. So that's probably what he's going to try to swing next. It's like, well, it wasn't guaranteed I was going to make $100 million. Some shit like that. Come on, man. We know he's going to make that $100 million.
I already said all along, man. If he don't, I'm not going to fight another pay-per-view fight until he fights Manny. That's it.
And we got to find out soon. It's got to be Mayweather or Khan soon, because both of those fights you have to build up. You can't wait like you did with those Maidana fights and announce the fight within 7-8 weeks. Like you want to build that fight and get all those people coming over here. Like I said, you got to get Amir Khan. You got to get him on Basketball Wives. I put him on what else? I put him on the Kardashians.
Yeah, they need at least 4 months to promote that fight.
Yeah, I have Amir Khan everywhere. He a special guest star on shit.
But be honestly, man, Amir Khan, will he have a chance against Floyd? I don't see it, man. I see him getting knocked the hell out. And,
Nah,
he can.
He got a chance.
Think so?
Yeah, dude is fast.
Yeah,
He's fast.
But that chin's still questionable, man. That chin.
Yeah, but I know even with Floyd, with those 26 KOs, Floyd is the most accurate boxer in the sport.
That's what I'm saying.
So Khan is going to eat some punches. So it's like how many of them can he eat?
That's what I'm saying. He can get knocked out.
Yeah, and another thing about Khan is he'll be getting hit with punches he doesn't see, and that's what will get him the most.
That's why I don't see a chance on. I don't know where.
Yeah, so he has the faster hands. He's going to give Mayweather some problems. But listen to this: he may give Mayweather, but if Mayweather knocks him down twice, and we know Mayweather's not going to lose. We know Mayweather's not going to lose a lot of rounds. Like I'm talking about, it's not going to be a shutout of Mayweather lose. So, it's a tough fight to call, because Mayweather may not be able to knock Khan out, but he may be able to knock him down. Maybe a couple times. So that's enough to win the fight right there.
Well, if it wasn't for a potential, Manny fight for Floyd, I wouldn't mind Amir Khan as an opponent because at least he would make it a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
He does have the speed to make it interesting. So I wouldn't mind it. If that fight ended up getting made, I'd probably buy it just because I don't think Khan can win, but I think he can give Floyd some frustrating moments. I think he has that in him.
Different than everybody else has ever made it for Floyd.
I'm not no damn Khan either.
You know,
Man, I think he might pose a threat, man. I think if he take his time, he'll do better.
But you know what? You know what? For me, would overshadow.
If it's time, I think he'll have a better chance.
I think he need to get that rematch with Danny Garcia. That's what I think.
Yeah, see, and it's like, how can you go into a Mayweather fight and you got, like that problem out there?
Yeah, he still got
you got that problem out there, and then you look at, Danny Garcia fought Rod Soka, but Danny Garcia's still undefeated.
Yep.
So it's like, like they're both in the same boat.
But that's kind of like what Floyd's saying about Manny, though, and people still want to see that fight.
Yeah.
He got Marquez problems.
Yeah, well, one thing about it though, at least Manny and his team tried to at least get it to Marquez to fight him for the 5th time.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. See,
they were trying. They even made him the #1 contender for the WBO title, and he's like, "No, I don't want that shit," because Pacquiao got it. But he would have fought Bradley though. He would have fought Bradley. They made him the #1 contender. And he said no. He showed up the Kell Brook versus Shawn Porter. We know that shit couldn't happen. Haymon wouldn't do that to his fighters. And we know, no offense. I know people, they say I always get no Marquez, but I don't think he want to go over to UK and deal with those drug testing over there.
I don't think so either.
He don't want to deal with that shit. No, nah. It's not going down.
You know what's funny with me? You know what would overshadow the Floyd Manny fight right now, or anything that's going on around welterweight? I would love to see that featherweight tournament take place, and I'd love to see a light heavyweight tournament just to get those finalized, because down featherweight, all the fucking guys down there are amazing to watch to me.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is they're not fighting each other. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know Aram owns most of those guys, and I know he could put those together.
Now fucking Leo Santa Cruz. I'm sick of Leo Santa Cruz. He keeps getting all these passes.
Hey, that's another thing I was gonna ask you. See, like Floyd, he's complaining about Manny, that he got 2 losses, but see the ones that he fought too, they got some losses in them too. So I don't know where he's.
Well, McDonald lost to Khan, and now Mayweather wants to fight Khan. So
but he also lost to he lost to Khan. He lost to
Devon Alexander.
That's what I'm saying. So they had some loss in them. You know what that's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mayweather, listen, he spends that shit. He sells the fights.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you.
I don't know how he can sell Keith Thurman. No, like Mayweather has limited options. And you have to thank Al Haymon for that, because Al Haymon hasn't been building his fighters up by having them fight each other. If Floyd Mayweather retires in September of 2015,
who's next?
Doesn't have nobody that can replace him.
That was gonna be my next question. Like, who's taking Floyd's spot after Floyd retired?
It was supposed to be Broner.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Broner versus Maidana was supposed to be on pay-per-view.
Right.
It was close. It was supposed to be Broner, but Broner fucked that up. Now Broner just looks like a clown now.
That fool be on the buffet all the time.
Yeah,
I
think they'll try to move Errol Spence. They'll accelerate his career.
That's what I'm
mic skills though. He Errol Spence is a good he's a good kid. Like he don't have the mic skills. I don't know how he'll be able to sell the fight. When I hear who's gonna be the next Mayweather, I'm talking about somebody that's able to captivate the people, good or bad.
Well,
but look at Triple G.
Yeah, there was a time when Floyd was a good kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was.
Nah, you think so? Listen, Floyd always had a domestic abuse issue going on.
Yeah, he's always been like that. But look at Triple G. He's a humble guy. He sells, He's starting to sell now.
Yeah, true.
You know?
True.
Nah, man, I swear Floyd didn't become the bad guy until he fought Oscar.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Because remember, he was like Oscar not gonna be the bad guy, so fuck it, I take on the bad guy role.
Yeah, and they sold that fight. Sold the
That's
shit.
right. Yeah, because even with the Judah, when he fought Zab, it was like Zab was the bad guy. Floyd was the good kid.
I don't know. I just don't know what's next for him. And then he's talking about like not retiring. I can understand why they don't want Floyd to retire. Boxing does not want Floyd to retire.
Now
Now they want him to take their loss.
But if you look at what's going on, like who is he going to be fighting? Or he's going to have to move up to 160, or at 154, like fully, at that weight. Like, how long is he going to stick around? Let's not forget he's going to be 38 in February. 38. It's like how long is he going to keep doing this?
And that's that age where I said those fighters, once they reach their late 30s and they're still at the top of the sport, that's why I have suspicions of all of them. Him, Manny.
Yeah,
I got some suspicions
Man,
going on. If they're in their like younger 30s and 20s, that don't raise a red flag with me too much. But when they get up in those 30s, like they are now, they're getting help. They're getting help. I don't care what anyone tells me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I just want to see Floyd fight like 2 fights and get on out the way.
I mean, he's created.
I'm ready to retire. I'm ready.
Like boxing is not going to be good after he leaves, because if you think about it, he's created like a whole generation of I'm my own boss. It was really Al Haymon and these guys. He's left a stench in boxing of, well, if you don't bring in the money, I'm not fighting you. I don't care if you're the other best. I don't care if you're the other guy that's best in the division. Stuff like that.
But that's just an excuse, because he's fought lots of guys like Maidana. Maidana had no pull. Like he's a popular, fun fighter, but as far as pull goes and it's bringing money in at the selling tickets, he doesn't sell out a lot of tickets here. Like he's always, his main events that he's been in have always been in lower tier or support cast sort of thing. Right?
You're right. When was the last fight he had before he fought Floyd? What was the last fight?
Broner.
Okay.
And Broner was the meal ticket in that.
Exactly.
And before that, you had a couple fights. Jesus Soto Carras.
Correct, yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's not a big event, right? He's not a big event
the same thing with Guerrero.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Guerrero.
Yeah. See, they don't have a big fan base yet.
And
Guerrero. They used Guerrero after he beat Berto. Same thing how they used Maidana after he beat Broner. It was just, they had a hype job and he got beat, and they used the that guy to make an event out of it. He finds a way to turn, garbage into gold.
They haven't done it for Keith Thurman yet. Ain't that crazy? It hasn't been done for Keith Thurman yet.
Well, I think it's more of Keith Thurman in a sense is, I think he doesn't want to be protected, but he is being protected. There is future in Keith Thurman, and to have him lose now probably doesn't make sense, which is why they haven't put him up against Porter or any other top contender. I think that's the only reason they're protecting him.
He got his first 7-minute episode of All Access.
What bugs me about the Thurman thing is the potential's there, but they're just not moving him. And you get a guy like that will come out of nowhere like Terrence Crawford. Nobody knew who the hell he was.
Yeah.
And Top Ranks turned him into a star already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got him the opportunities. He's selling out tickets in his hometown. A lot of buzz about him. It's like he bypassed Thurman, just like and Thurman was in position for way longer. And he just came out of nowhere, won a couple fights. Won a couple fights there where he basically said some statements that turned people off, saying safety first. He realized it, upped his game, and now look at him. The guy's becoming a star out of the blue, and that's what I'm wondering what Al Haymon's doing, because Thurman has that potential in him. He has that. Take a risk. I'm sure Thurman. You can tell he's willing, and he has that potential.
Man, I think they're waiting on Floyd to get out the way before they make any big fights.
Yeah, but that makes no sense though, because you need somebody. You need to have a big fighter to replace Floyd. That just seems common sense. You got to have somebody at least on the way to replacing Floyd. So you're keeping a guy like Keith Thurman back. Why? Is because you don't want to risk him losing, but yet you're going to keep having fighting guys like Leonard Bundu. His career took a step back against Leonard Bundu, even though he made an adjustment. Still, a guy like Keith Thurman looking like that against a guy like Leonard Bundu, at this point in time, it doesn't help his case to get a Maidana fight.
He only stepped back because he's a potential opponent for Floyd Mayweather. So there's he's under a microscope right now. And anything he does, there's a group of people who don't want to see him fight Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, but are we holding fighters up against, does the next big fighter have to not have a loss on his record to be the next big fighter, though? Are we holding them to Floyd standards of not losing?
Yeah,
no. I think it's a new generation of fans. They're the ones that are setting the standards now.
He don't got a loss, so he the best.
Too much. Fans are condoning too much dumb shit. Seriously.
Yeah.
And then I think, here's another, how does Thurman, I don't understand how fans feel that Maidana should fight Thurman when Maidana just had two
losses.
But also they're losses, but 2 fights at the highest you can go.
Yeah, I would say Maidana deserves a soft touch.
Keith Thurman can't sell out anywhere in his hometown. Keith Thurman still needs a bigger fight. Now, he is right why certain fighters don't want to fight him. Amir Khan don't want to fight him because it's bigger money and a high risk. Robert Guerrero, bigger money, high risk. Marcos Maidana, bigger money, high risk. But then you've got a guy like Shawn Porter. Hell, I would even listen if he fight Devon Alexander next. But Al Haymon is not going to do that to Devon Alexander. He already sacrificed Devon Alexander this time. Devon Alexander is going to be on the comeback trail for the next 2 years. Fight a whole bunch of fighters, on undercards and probably in untelevised events. Then all of a sudden he's going to pop out with a title shot. But there are fights out there for Keith Thurman to fight. And let's not forget, Keith Thurman is a big 147 guy and a small 154. So he can fight at 154 too. But it makes no sense. I understand because he's a #1 contender, at 147. But still, there's fights out there for him. It's just that the matchmaking, they just try to keep him away from certain fighters, but build his name up like they did Andre Berto and Adrian Broner by him not fighting nobody. It's the same shit. It's the same plan.
Do you really think he can beat
Thurman? But it's not working like it did with Broner and Andre Berto. It's not working like it used to. People getting sick of the Al Haymon plan. It can be seen now. People are getting tired. Look at Gary Russell Jr. Almost in the untelevised bout. That bout was almost untelevised. Al Haymon guy get built up, all hyped up, get the title shot, don't show up. He had the fast hands, all right. The hands were fast, but his opponent wasn't never around. Lomachenko hit him, you'll see Russell, but Lomachenko will be gone. Come on, none of it makes sense to me. None of this shit, literally, none of it makes sense. We getting sold with these bullshit fights.
I think the only reason you've seen Russell fight Lomachenko is they thought Lomachenko was a soft touch after the Salida fight.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a beast.
Al Haymon was like, let's get him now.
Yeah, get him while the iron's hot. Didn't turn out the way they planned.
That's why I find these guys. Leonard Bundu, Lucas Konyekny, Dmitry Sukhotsky. Where is he? Where? Al Haymon?
I think he digs into the most lowbrow gyms worldwide. Who do you got in there? You got any 175 pounders? Yeah, we got these 2 guys.
You got any ranked guys in there?
Yeah, any of them got a padded or semi-padded record? Oh yeah, this guy does. Okay, give us him.
Then what's name?
Like, I don't understand like where they get these what the Charlie Oda, who else?
Didn't Omar Figueroa was supposed to move up to 140?
Who?
Omar Figueroa.
I didn't hear nothing you said.
Omar Figueroa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, he's done with 135. He's done.
Yeah, he's supposed to go to 140, right?
Yeah, he's done at one. But see him now. Here's the thing. Al Haymon's probably taking his time with him because Omar Figueroa is a punching bag. You know, so taking Omar Figueroa up to 140 pounds, you know he's going to be in some fights where he's going to take a lot of punches to the face. And he's going to throw a lot of punches and punch somebody else in the face, but Omar Figueroa can be knocked out. You know, it's only a matter of time. So
yeah, I think he'll win. I think he's not gonna do too good at 140.
Yeah, so you know, since he's with Al Haymon now, he didn't sign back with Golden Boy, if I'm correct. His Golden Boy contract was over this summer. He signed with Al Haymon, didn't sign back with Golden Boy, and that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
You know, but then he gonna still fight on Golden Boy cards. Like I don't wonder how Al Haymon do it. Like, well, I'm gonna sign him up. He's not gonna be obligated to you, but I'm gonna let you know I'll still have him fight on your cards. But now he belongs to me. His soul is mine.
I'd still like to see a 140-pound tournament. And
140 is a big division too.
Yeah, I'd like to match a lot of guys up who are giant punchers with what's his name?
You know, I would love him fighting.
Humberto Soto. I want to see a Humberto Soto versus a lot of these guys.
I would love Omar Figueroa to fight Mickey Bay.
Mickey Bay gonna get fucked up.
That's what I want.
Oh, okay.
I would like to see Broner. I would like to see Broner against Humberto Soto.
I would like to see Broner versus fucking Matisse. I want to see I want to see fights where fighters like it used to be where they had to overcome the odds.
That's what I'm saying.
When it was like when fighters like somebody like Broner, like when you see him going there against a McDonald, that wasn't supposed to happen. I want to see him go up against, a Danny Garcia. But guess what? They friends.
Yeah.
Did you notice something also about the Haymon fighters? They all hang out together.
Yeah, they do.
They're all cool with each other. So it's like, if y'all do fight, how I'm going to expect that y'all, y'all cool? Like, literally, I said in the video earlier. Like, Al Haymon fighters are like, that's the NWO.
Yeah.
Like, that's the NWO black fight. Like, what happens is, like, Al Haymon fighter beat you up, and then Al Haymon comes sign you, Eric Bischoff.
Because
that's what happens. Like, like eventually, they corner you, and then you got no choice but to sign. Yeah. Like, imagine all Al Haymon fighters in one room.
He's got a belt, don't he, Mickey Bay, that he took from what's his name?
Vasquez, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the robbery, that nasty-ass fight.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I won't mind Mark. He's going up. I won't mind fighting him.
You got Leo Santa Cruz versus his sparring partner as the co-feature of Mayweather versus McDonough, too. And you can't tell me that they didn't lose no money.
That was a ragged-ass fight, too, man.
That whole card was that card was nasty as shit. Oh, yeah. Nasty-ass, ugly-ass card.
See, Leo Santa Cruz, after Mata, they got to step up. They got to fight Rigo, fucking Walters.
Leo Santa Cruz, listen, I'm starting to revolt on him. He's a super nice guy, but so what? He just not fighting nobody. And then he named his son. He's named his son Al. Like after
I heard about that. Is that any true about that?
Yes, it's true.
God, seriously.
So it just makes me think like, of course you went.
Dude, these guys. I want to thank Al Haymon, then I want to thank God. Are you seriously?
Yeah. I want to thank Amen. I want to thank God. I want to thank my family. None of this shit makes any sense, and fans just be condoning it. They just be like, yeah, as long as they getting their money. These fighters got their money. I'm sick of them getting robbed. But you sitting there watching bullshit. You be mad like I just fucking nuts fight, But I'm glad he got paid for it. That's all. Lord knows he got paid. Bless his heart. Yeah. This shit don't make no sense. I put it on a scenario. This was pointed out to me from somebody that witnessed the situation. Al Haymon, Oscar De La Hoya say, and Steven Espinoza, but like, yeah, can we get Danny Garcia versus Lamont Peterson? Al Haymon had just come back and be like, no, but we can do Danny Garcia versus Rod Soka. Like, he be countering them. They'll ask for a fight, but then he know, like, no, I'm not giving you that right
That's bullshit.
And then he'll say, well, I'll give you this. And they're in a situation where they got no choice but to take it. Look at these bullshit Showtime cards that there's been over the last month, 2 months.
See, but you also got to blame the fighter too, man. The fighter's supposed to be able to tell him, you know what, fuck that. I want to fight Peterson.
How? When you sign like Haymon, once you sign this contract, it's not up to you. It's not up to them. They tell you every now and then. Boxers slip up in the interviews. Peter Quillen said it. Danny Garcia said it. Adrian Broner said it. But they all say it in the ring. But sometimes they slip up and say it like in depth, like, listen, it's not up to me. It's up to Al Haymon.
Hey, I thought they were just making the shit up just to make it.
You know, like whoever he picks for me, fight. You know, and I think that's just a horrible situation for a boxer to be in. Like Keith Thurman, he's the only one that's shown a real problem with the situation, because he's like, listen, I'll always be loyal. Good interview, friend of mine, Baylor IC. Good interview, long in depth. This was right after it was learned that Thurman was offered that $2 million a fight deal. So he was basically like, you can sense the frustration in his voice, you know, like about being an Al Haymon fighter, and the fact that Al Haymon tell you, well, listen, fight this person. And, you know, Keith Thurman probably saying, I want to fight this person. And Al Haymon going to him like, well, listen, you want to make this money, but then you fight him.
Well, you know what's funny? There is a few Haymon fighters, actually maybe a lot, that would fight anyone. I know, like for a fact, even though he's hated on, Broner, I think he'd step in the ring with anyone.
Yeah, he would.
He's actually cocky enough to. I know he would. He would just step right in the ring against anyone. He would think he'd win against most. He'd be a good fight. There's a few out there that I still think would kick his ass.
No matter who he fight.
Yeah, it's just the way he is. I know he would get right back in the ring with Maidana if given a chance.
Yep. Remember, he invoked his rematch clause. Remember, he wanted it immediately.
Yeah.
Haymon was like, you know what? No, we're going to rebuild you, my homie. We're going to rebuild you. And then look who he's fighting. Look who he's fighting. You know, like Emmanuel Taylor, it was a good fight, yes, but then hey, you got Batista, you on the same goddamn card.
Yeah.
I think they be trolling us when they do shit like that.
Yeah.
I really think they be trolling us, like when you'll see that you got Keith Thurman and Batista on the same card. Keith Thurman the fight before for that 147. But then it's fight when you're on the card with Thurman, he fights at 140. Then you got, Danny Garcia, Lamont, Peterson, like the guys on the same card. You know, you had Mayweather. You had Khan versus Collazo, Broner versus Molina on the Mayweather-Maidana 1 card. Like, it's crazy. Like, why can't these guys be fighting each other? That career would be so much better off if these guys would have fought each other. All 3 of those fights I just named.
Exactly.
Their career would have been better off. Or at least one of them, the winner. Khan is like, we knew that Khan wasn't going to fight no Robert Guerrero. Probably not even Jose Zito Lopez, because of the fact that, well, Lopez threw those bombs. We don't want Khan to get hurt, so put him in there with a relatively, you can say, somewhat soft puncher, or softer puncher than Amir Khan has been knocked out by before, against Devon Alexander. But don't dare put him in there against a guy that can. They probably wouldn't even put him in there against Victor Ortiz, yo, bitch ass. They probably wouldn't even do that. Because Amir Khan is with the fighter, they're protecting his chin.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised, like, if when he spars, he wears like the headgear and like a chastity chin, like just make sure like nobody can touch it. Like, his chin is literally like one of the probably the most sensitive part of his body. It's worth more. It's worth more than him, actually. I've seen people just paint pictures of his chin. They're serious, like paint it like transparent and shit. It's crazy. Like, but I'm not saying Amir Khan is overrated, but he just feels too entitled. So if Amir Khan Mayweather does happen, I'm going to be watching over somebody else's house. I'm doing my video from there. And I can't wait to see the pay-per-view numbers, because I know they're going to lie to us. I know they're going to lie to us. How do you turn down $100 million? Because if Mayweather turns down $100 million, that means everybody in that situation has turned down or lost the biggest payday of their career. Everybody gets the biggest payday of their career.
Nah, if he turns it down, that means he ducked. He ducked $110 million.
Showtime gets the biggest payday of their career. HBO, not so much so. They'll get a lot of money. but not so much so Bob Arum, Pacquiao, the dude Michael Kuntz.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, look at LB even gonna get a bigger payday. The trainer's gonna get a bigger payday.
Who's the one with the
economy's
fucked
gonna
up
be
goatee?
booming.
The one with the fucked up goatee?
Yeah, that motherfucker.
You know what? Good thing you brought that up. I was going to ask you. There was an article too that I saw on Facebook about Floyd that he was being questioned about some refs that he was paying under the table. Did you see that too?
Man, I
Is
don't
there
be
any truth to that?
shit. Yeah, I seen it, but see, when you see articles like that, it's like, okay, well, anything happens in boxing. Like with the robberies we seen last week.
I know. I'm sure. Yeah.
Like with the robberies we seen last week, I know they taking checks. Then when I see Julie Letterman, she's scoring Chavez beating Bradley, you know, and then she chilling with the Method Man, you know, from the Wu-Tang at football games and shit.
Cool.
You know, she chilling with Method Man, Julie Letterman, Judge Harold Letterman's daughter. She was chilling with meth. She was chilling with meth.
Well, hell, she probably stole then, hell.
So I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, like, what if I like, can I just walk up on the judge and be like, listen, pull out an envelope and be like, you know who to pick, right? Pick the right side. You know, like, how do I know that I can't walk? How do I know that somebody can't walk up like a guy who, like an Al Haymon, who people don't know who he is, walk up on the judge like, how you doing? Can I get those groceries for you? You know, and he just put a big ass envelope in your hand. How do I know these judges are not getting paid? So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, especially with the like two robberies, or if you not say robberies, two questionable decisions in one night. Herrera and Chavez, come on, man.
And there was a worse the night before that, or a Thursday night. There was that Tyson Cave fight. He's from my hometown, and he fought that guy, and he basically won every round and lost the decision. So
yeah, I saw that too.
He was pissed. And guess what? He's not going to get no justice. You know, ain't no sanctioning body going to investigate that shit or overturn anything. You know, like they robbed this shit.
Fight.
And this don't happen. The guy who won is a Haymon fighter. It's crazy. This is craziness, man. This is craziness. This is craziness. But I look at it like this. Until Al Haymon comes out and has a press conference and tells us what his motivations are, I don't trust him. He's no good to me. Al Haymon is no good.
No.
He's no good.
Well, it's
because right now I can't keep going off of speculation like, well, maybe he's doing the right thing. I gotta go off this year. 2013 has shown us that he don't give a fuck about the fans. Well, you know, he putting together fights he wants to put together.
The entire secrecy of the whole matter tells us that the information that he's withholding isn't fan friendly.
Yeah, he's withholding something. Yes.
So
there's a reason why he don't want to get on those cameras.
Exactly. Or even passing it on to make a press release. We plan on doing this and that. There's a
secret interview or something. Yeah, like do an article or something. Tell us something. He don't tell us nothing.
That right there tells me that there's some kind of sleazy stuff going on in the background.
Yeah. For all we know, he could be a drug dealer. Hell.
He could. He could just be Bobby Haymon. He could just be his brother. Where does his brother go? How somebody just disappeared off the face of the earth? How does a fighter that fought Sugar Ray Leonard just disappear off the face of the earth? You can't find nothing nowhere on him. You know, we don't know if Al Haymon married. We don't know if he got no kids. We literally know nothing about the man except he's a music
guy. So actually, nobody ever physically seen him. Nobody ever physically.
What you say?
Nobody ever physically seen Al Haymon.
No. He's seen quite a bit. But see, what he does is, there was an interview I read about 3 weeks ago. It's an old interview. A reporter saw Al Haymon, walked up to Al Haymon and just asked him a question about, like basically, this was before Mayweather fought Shane Mosley, about why Mayweather wasn't fighting Mosley. And what he said was, Haymon, like looked at him with a look of disdain and said, I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm still counting the pay-per-view buys we did from last night or some shit. And I'm thinking like, damn, that's where Mayweather get that shit from. And then Haymon just walked across the other room. So I'm thinking reporters probably ask him shit, or when you see reporters coming, he always aware of his surroundings to the point when he see reporters coming, he just goes somewhere else. Just keep relocating. You know, because he be at those press conferences and shit. He be at the back. He don't be sitting down or nothing. He be like at the back in the door, like living in the doorway.
Well, how come nobody ever focus on him? You know, like, hey, this we'll try to.
Because he's scary as shit. You don't know who he is. Probably a fucking vampire or something.
He's probably scared to get smoked. But,
Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, I thought to myself, listen, I feel one day I'm gonna be the one, like out him and gonna be right there, and knowing me is gonna be eating me up because I'm gonna be like, I want to walk up to him, but at the same time, I know I'm gonna have to. You know, and I'm gonna just ask him on camera, ask him one question. Even if I can get footage of him not answering my question and walking away, it'll be a dream come true. If I just get footage of Al Haymon just ignoring me and walking away, I'm like, that's him. Look at his suit. Look at his shoes. That's it. I'll be so fascinated. I'm like, look at his briefcase. I wonder what's in that briefcase.
I have to do some shit.
He's got a razor phone. He got a two-way pager.
I've never seen a guy like him.
Scraggly ass.
That's so high profile, but so totally unknown. Like,
yeah,
kind of crazy when you think about it. Like he's practically in almost every story when it comes to the sport. His name's in there. Everyone, every fighter that's under his realm and the people that work for him praise this guy, but nobody has any actual real footage of him giving an interview or anything like that. It's kind of freaky when you think about it.
He did a formal interview. The last formal interview he did was in, if I'm correct, the late 90s. This is when I found out that he was like one of the most powerful music promoters in the world, and that bullshit Forbes 15 million estimated was bullshit. As of right now, I got some information. Well, Lil Wayne is supposed to have an album coming out. Lil Wayne is having some problems with his pop or his adopted pop, baby. And long story short, Al Haymon is trying to help Lil Wayne get his album out. So what I'm saying is this: Al Haymon. If anybody ever heard of the Budweiser Music Festival, that's Thank You, Al Haymon.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga concerts, Thank You, Al Haymon. Every single Madonna concert, everything, Al Haymon. So people need to understand that he's powerful when it comes to the reason why he has so much network clout is because he's powerful with so many different celebrities. They know who he is. Goddamn Derek Jeter. God damn it.
Yeah, and he probably has a bank account with so many zeros. It's scary.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a billionaire or not close to a billionaire. That's why he's able, because you got to think, how was he able to sign all these fighters? You know?
Yeah, I'd say more than a billionaire. I'd say, he could be worth a couple.
Yeah.
And mostly from the music business, because that music business, concert business, that's big business. You get these top artists, they're making $4 or $5 million a night.
Eddie Murphy's albums,
yeah.
But then there's also the dark side. It's like, well, you're hiding something. Is it true that you like trannies?
Like I said, I've never seen such a high-profile person be so low-profile at the same time.
There's got to be something that's being hidden. Like there's something he does not want, obviously, us to know. So I guess he feels that, well, if I'm not in the media, or if I'm not out in the public, then people won't say, oh, that's the guy that's such and such.
And he's so so normal looking, basically. Dresses so normal that people would just think he's an average Joe. He probably walks among people every day.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who he is.
He'd be having those men's warehouse suits on.
Yeah.
One time I saw a couple of pictures. His hair, he's bald. Got the little hair on the side. His hair was so fucked up. And I know he works hard, but I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, like this billionaire, like he got this old-ass suitcase. He's got a pager. He's got a razor phone with this ugly ass tie, and he gets shit popping. And and he's a very shrewd businessman. He don't take no shit from nobody. And you look at him, he got a heart of gold.
Another thing I wonder. So he's basically
and nobody tells him no.
Yeah, he's basically based in Las Vegas.
Yes.
There's so many boxing. They gotta know where he lives. You know what I mean?
The people in his circle knows where he lives. I mean, the man travels everywhere by private jet. The man is no joke. They like the people like Sam Watson. You know, they know who he is. They know where he lives.
They
They
know who he is.
stories.
But you think all the media, the boxing media, because there's so many of them in Las Vegas, they should have access to more information about this guy. If he owns land, he owns property,
Yeah.
it should be public knowledge. They should be able to look that up. Look in a phone book. Is he in there? It's like, why is this guy so low key? That's what I just don't understand about the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, it's difficult to understand his motivations because he never comes out and tells us what he's doing. You know, it's just, you know, everything's just so secretive. And it's like, how can we think you're doing something right? You know, how can we think you're doing the right thing when you don't want us to know what it is exactly that you are doing? You know, it's suspect. He makes it look bad.
Exactly.
I mean, he makes himself look bad.
Well, he don't have to tell us. Just by getting the fights we're getting. That tells you
Who,
everything.
Jermaine Taylor?
No, I'm talking about he don't have to tell us nothing. Just by the fights we get. That tells
Oh,
you everything.
yeah, and it's like, you know, and it's like this. Like me, you know, I'm a very critical thinker, so I look at the fact that I have Showtime, and I think to myself, well, why am I paying to watch these fights?
Me too.
You know?
Yeah, both Showtime and
So listen, my grandparents have Showtime. I can just use their Showtime package and watch Showtime anytime on my computer instead of paying for it.
Yep.
Because that's the point I'm getting to, and I'm thinking like to myself, like, well, if Steven Espinoza cannot get this fight made with Mayweather Pacquiao, how is he going to keep his job? He lost Canelo. You know, how would he keep his job? How? You know, it's tough. I'm going to be on here for another 15 minutes. See, this is what happens when I take a nap. I be so energetic. That's why I got to take naps before these hangouts, man.
Yeah, you guys got me beat. I think I'm going to head to bed now. I started dozing off a couple times. I'm just so overtired. I had a long day.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be here for a couple more minutes. So just wrapping it up. All right, Dean, until
All right,
I don't even know what my next hangout is. Well, I'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah, we'll get something going on. I'll catch you guys later. This old man got to rest his bones. Have a good night, everyone. And I'll watch the rest of the video tomorrow.
Cool.
All
right. So what I'm going to do now is just basically say I'm not going to stick around too long here. Might as well get something.
Me too. I've been down and off.
Yeah, and I've been hearing y'all motherfuckers snoring. You know, so basically, you know, what I do is I do Google Hangout after every major fight, normally on Saturdays. So basically, I'm probably not going to do another one until Thurman versus Wilder, which is going to be in about a month. I may do one or two in between, but I highly doubt it. So what I'm going to do is, you know, until that time, I'm going to start adding more people to my acquaintances, and what that means is, if you got a YouTube account, you got something called Google Plus, and on Google Plus, once I add you, you'll be able to join these Google Hangouts effortlessly. You know, you'll receive like a notification. You know, on your Google Plus page, you got to get familiar with what Google Plus is.
I got Google Plus.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you see, you here, you know, but to the people that don't know, it's a simple process because every week I get questions, well, how do I join, and all kind of stuff like that. But, you know, I'm going to leave it at that. This is T Street Controversy.
All right.
T Street Controversy Live. Please subscribe. You guys have a good night.
You too. All right. Peace.